A lot goes into selecting our annual list of audits, including input from you in the community.
We use ongoing risk assessment methods to identify which city agencies, contracts, or programs would benefit from our independent audit or review.
Recently, many of my constituents have wondered, how do we select which agencies, programs, or contracts to audit? That's a good question. According to Denver's charter, the auditor shall conduct financial and performance audits of the City and County of Denver in accordance with generally accepted government auditing standards. The auditor shall also conduct audits of individual financial transactions, contracts, and franchises, and many other elements related to the city's financial and accounting systems and procedures. When we say performance audits, that means identifying opportunities to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of city agencies.
Performance audits determine whether government resources are used in a way that effectively implement policy and program goals, and whether they meet the voters' and administration's intended outcomes and impact. Our financial auditing approach focuses on financial management and other fiscal activities of the city, including contract oversight.
With that in mind, every year we are required to produce a plan listing the audits we expect to do in the next calendar year. This annual audit plan comes out every year in October. Now, this is just a plan, and it could change during the year if there is a need or unexpected events like we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the charter, the auditor is the only one who has the final decision to perform any audit. But when I'm deciding where to dedicate our audit team resources, I consider a lot of factors to prioritize audit topics. We set up meetings with city leaders, including the mayor and city council, as well as agency heads. We frequently ask them, what keeps you up at night? What do you think we should be looking at? We also take input directly from community members through neighborhood meetings, email, social media, and other outreach. Audit topics that were included in this year's audit plan that came from the community were city shelters, the Caring for Denver Foundation, 311 services, and the Climate Protection Fund. We also consider input from the members of the Independent Audit Committee and our own staff. Other factors we might consider when identifying which audits rise to the highest level of interest could include local or national events, public policy issues or recent legislation, time since the last audit, the size of the agency or program, equity, impactful audits done by our peers in comparable cities, and risks we identified in other audits but could not address previously. The audit process takes several months from start to finish, which means we cannot possibly audit every city agency, program, and contract in any given year. Some agencies or programs might be a higher reputational or financial risk for the city, so those might rise to the top more often. Some agencies could be audited more frequently than others, depending upon outcomes of previous audits. If an agency does not implement our recommendations, they are likely to be audited again. In some cases, we might select an audit because an agency or program has not been audited in a long time. And of course, the more often I hear about similar concerns from the community, the more likely that topic will be selected for audit.
Through the risk assessment process, we strive to select a wide range of audits across agencies, audit types, program sizes, and subjects.
Our function as an independent agency assuring accountability for the people we serve could not be more important. The independent audit function serves as a tool for good government, transparency, and accountability in the city. My office's professional assessment of city operations acts as a safeguard for taxpayer dollars, and it is a reminder for every city agency to expect proper scrutiny. As we prepare our audit plan for the next year, I look forward to continuing to deliver independent, transparent, and professional oversight in the city, thereby conserving the public's investment and trust. Well, that's it for this episode of Ask the Auditor. If you have a question, submit it to auditor@denvergov.org, and maybe your question will be the next question we answer on the next episode of Ask the Auditor.